What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Billy Goat Tales. We appreciate you being here. I am Crypto Billy, and on the Billy Goat Tales team, we have the Biomax, Redman, Dave Digital, Crypto Pollo with us as well, and our special guest, Thesis himself. We're going to get into some TA a little bit later on here today. What's going on, guys? Good to see everybody. Thank you all for joining us. Please like and subscribe. We're going to share out this link because we let anyone come on our space. If you want to come on our space, we will let you come on our space and tell us what you have going on in the crypto space, or even if it's not the crypto space. This is Sunday Bloopers. We get into all kinds of topics here on Billy Goat Tales. We already see Darren does things in the chat, which is great. We appreciate you. And our first and original mod, Alexandra. Thank you for stopping in. We appreciate you, Alexandra. Tony, what's been happening in your world, man?
Oh, not a whole lot. I've been following the Cornucopias NFT launch that was supposed to happen. They had a DDoS attack, and so they're trying to relaunch that. But I've been following that a little bit. Finished up the first draft of the full Billy Goat Tales Season 1 NFT book. So we have that for the team to review, and off to our book presenter who's doing some of that dev work.
Yeah, man. So with our NFT book, we are hoping for this to come out in December, and it is going to be fire. And you guys know I don't like shilling anything. And just for the whole community to know, everything is paid for. We don't need to sell a dime to make a dime. So it isn't about that. This is about all of the folks that joined us on our first X Space, chapters 1 through 30. If you took a microphone, you get a free NFT airdrop of our speaker pass. And from that speaker pass, get a discount on our mint. So what we're talking about now is our mint coming in December. And this book is fire, man. This is a leadership book, a book of life. If you ever saw that little book, I think it was called The Book of Life, right? It's a little book. It has all these good little slogans in it that you should know in your life to make you a better father, make you a better son, make you a better grandfather, a better brother. This is like that. It's going to be fire, man. So we're really excited about that. What's going on with you, Red Man?
I'm here. My mic was muted. Sorry about that.
Right.
Yeah, I just want to remind everybody that in the description of this video, we got all the links for our Discord, for our Twitter, for everything Billy Goat Tales. So if you guys want to go ahead and if you're not a part of those communities, go ahead and follow Billy Goat Tales on Twitter, join our Discord, get all the alpha, hear as much as you can from Crypto Billy and all the rest of the team. So I'll send it back over to you, Billy.
Yeah, man. Pollo, how you been? What's going on in your world, brother?
I've been good. Just being patient. Doing a little bit of trading, but right now I'm waiting for bigger levels to be hit. And spent some time with the family yesterday. It was sister's husband's birthday, so I spent a little bit of time with them. But, man, just clucking along.
Clucking along, man. That's a fire background too, man. That's really cool. And then we have Dave Digital. What's going on, Dave?
Just got my fire background behind me too. And doing breakout. Just took a recent trade, so I'm still in it a little bit, put 75% of it out. Have my stop loss into profit, so that feels good.
And that, and that's a great segue. We have Thesis himself here. If you don't know Thesis has been trading for a long time. He's original OG in Frankie Candle's community. I've done some screen shares with him. He absolutely knows his stuff. He's part of bigger communities, other communities. And Thesis, before we get into like just trades and some of your trade setup, tell us your story, man. Tell us how it all started, man. I think it's an interesting story.
If how much time do you want me to go into?
Just jump into the fact that I remember you from Frankie's. So
yeah, absolutely. A truncated version was I lost everything probably about 3 times or so. I was about 130 grand in the hole, and I had a long conversation with my wife. My wife said, we know for a fact that there are people out there who do this as a job. Now go figure it out. She didn't say, oh, you need to quit, you need to go back to YouTube or like go back to a quote unquote real job or whatever. She's like, figure it out. And so eventually, Pollo actually has been by my side through a lot of it. I figured it out, and it was through a really screwed up situation, and going through losing everything that many times, especially when you don't have 130 grand, 140 grand to lose. It's a pretty big step, right? It was a pretty big step, and I decided that I'm a hands-on blue collar kind of guy, and there's very few dudes out there like me in the trading community. Everyone's very, that white collar kind of mentality, and I'm like, no, I'm going to approach this like I would ripping down a dirt bike or a ATV or a truck or whatever. And it's the exact same thing that I did with trading. So I'm going to break this down in the same way. If I can break down a motor, there's no difference between a motor and that chart. It's a cold piece of steel. It doesn't care about your feelings, just fix it. So then that's what we did.
And so what year did you start trading?
I officially, it would have been when I met you. Like I pretended I knew what I was doing by tricking myself. I discovered leverage probably in 2021.
Okay.
I slid the leverage slider as high it would go. I don't remember what exchange, some just funky exchange. Stop losses didn't work. Like you could input a stop loss, and I didn't even know what that was. I slid it, and I could tell you exactly what I was doing. We were sitting at a Mexican restaurant. I got an alert on my phone. It was like $50, $100. A couple days later, I forgot about it. I woke up. We go to pick up some new turkeys. We go to this Mexican restaurant. I got an alert on my phone about Bitcoin being at some price. I forgot that I had did this trade, and I opened it up, and I turned like 50 or $100 into thousands, like 1,200, 13, like insane X's on a $50 investment. My first thought was, I don't know why people complain about this being difficult. This is the easiest money I've ever made. And it was that moment that sparked the loss of trying to recreate that lucky get, right?
Yeah.
So that would have been like 21.
Okay.
22. So it wasn't even that long. It was I'm only a couple years in, but I've been profitable like for about I went really fast. I probably spent 16 hours a day at the charts figuring this out.
Wow, that's a lot. Yeah. That's a lot of time, man.
It's a lot of time. I spent every hour until I could figure this out, and eventually I got to the point where I was like, holy cow! Like I can repeat this on a daily, weekly, daily basis, roughly thereabouts, to where it's basically my sole income.
So then you somehow through that transition you met Kyle. So tell us about that a little bit.
Oh, do you want the real story? Or do you want the super truncated, nicer version?
Super truncated, nicer version.
Okay, so we'll go with that. I don't want to talk bad about anybody, but there's like certain YouTubers that like was just say things like the charts don't matter. Bitcoin to 100 grand. The charts don't matter. ADA to $3, and then ADA to $10, whatever it was. And you can imagine who would say stuff like that. And so I would just buy with money I couldn't afford to lose, and it eventually just continued to go down. I was looking for an out, and I found this super boring, just watching paint dry dude looking at charts. And I was like, where is his thumbnails? Like, this dude doesn't know how YouTube works. Like, you need to like have some mouth agape with a chart next to it. And that's not what he was doing. And he was like, okay, guys, so, the cycle's over, this, that, the other. And I didn't care about that part. What I cared about was you could audit his trades while he was on YouTube. You could watch his videos, and he would show you the trade and then show you the P&L. Show you the trade and then show you the P&L over and over and over again. I was like, wait, you can predict this like it correctly, and you're not out here like screaming the charts don't matter, Bitcoin to this price no matter what. And so I hounded him on his comments, and I was like, hey, like notice me, just notice me, show me your ways. And he held a giveaway one time. Like it was after a week of me just like commenting. and it was a giveaway for one of his courses, and his courses were thousands of dollars. So I'm like, I'm not going to spend thousands, which is dumb. You should definitely buy any course. Anything is better than just trying to learn on your own. And I say that to not shill anybody, but just like find a trader who knows what they're doing, and they will show you. You pay them well, or buy a course, or do something, because learning on your own is an awful experience. I did it. Believe me, it's not a great experience. So he held that competition, or that giveaway, and because I had commented so many times on so many of his videos, I won, and so it sparked that relationship between him and I, to the point where, like, I told him one time, I'll tell you the real story off cam. One day I'm going to become so good that you're going to ask me to work for you. And then eventually I'm going to get to the point where you're going to ask me to work with you. And that's exactly what happened in that order. Not to say that I'm special. I am genuinely I'm the last person who should have ever figured out how to do this as a living. And I'm telling you, if I can do this as a job, right? Make trading every day on the week, it doesn't matter. None of that matters. News doesn't matter. Fundamentals don't matter. They're all Ponzi's. If I can figure out how to trade these Ponzi's and make a decent living, anybody can trade these Ponzi's and make a decent living. Period. But that's how I met him, by hounding him on the comments. Don't do that to Billy, guys. Please don't do that.
Yeah. Appreciate that. So and that was after you were in Frankie's, right? So
Yep.
I met you in Frankie. So you kept your career, you're learning, you're growing, going. You were in Frankie's. What other communities did you, trading communities? What were there any other ones that you joined after that?
Yeah, Frankie's, Jason Casper's, Investi Share, which is Kyle's. Eventually, I now work with Max Mayer for Finova, as one of his traders, like in the group, and etc. Interesting. Jason Casper was one of those ones. I got to give shouts out. He was the only trader as a personality that I could relate to out of any other traders. Love Frankie, by the way. He in my head is like my OG TA guy, right? I still use some of the concepts he talks about all the time. I use them all the time.
Except the yellow X's.
If I even hear a yellow X come up, it's done. I will refund a student their money and get out of here with that. It's not real. All jokes aside, I'm sure it's real. I just don't use it with my TA. But Jason Casper is one of the. I thought he was being a smartass for the longest time about being like this, kind of like a genuine, humble dude. That's who he is, man. I've talked to him on several occasions. He's really, really, I align with that dude in a lot of different ways. So shouts out to Jason Casper.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So many things, not just trading, but his intensity, his dedication, his
discipline,
his commitment to religion, to his God, to obviously our God too. But the way that he understands the scriptures, and the way that he's hungry for it, and the way that he presents it to the other side very, very calmly and very, very astutely. And, he's like, hey, look, this is just how I see it, but here's why I see it, how I see it. Man, I've not encountered somebody better than that.
So I'm going to tell you, go ahead.
No, I was just going to mention, finish your comment, then I'll ask you a question.
So just to touch on what Dave just said, there was a live stream that he did a few weeks back, maybe a month or so ago, where I watched him. Someone was trying to argue and make him upset about Islam, and where he not only went back and said, "Well, here, this is. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but this is why I believe what I believe, and I can literally recite to you within the Quran the specific scriptures line by line, and then share screen, Google it." To prove himself correct. Was when I saw that, I was like, this is not just a ploy. This is not him, pandering to a specific audience. This is really, really what he's talking. This is really who he is, and he knows what he's talking about. I respect. I don't care if I agree with you or not. If I'm a Democrat and you're a Republican, or vice versa, if you come at me with an educated opinion, I will not only listen, I will legitimately hear you out soak that information in, and maybe you can change my mind and vice versa. Because anyone who comes at me with an opinion that's based in fact or education, I'm all ears. I'm open ears. I will listen to him 100%. And that's the way he presented himself to someone who's trying to argue with him. That is a level of respect that I want to learn how to give and also receive.
Yeah, and when he gives nutritional advice, why wouldn't I listen to him? You know what I'm saying? He's a specimen of a person, and he grows his own stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's just amazing that he's such a wrapped up package like that. That's amazing. I mean, a family man, fitness man, health man, all of that. You know, a godly man, and he's not afraid to show it.
Him to self, though. Yeah.
He's just genuine. Like he's, you know, the more you see him, the more genuine you see that he is. You know, so I think that's a really good you know, trait to have. Now, so Thesis, I wanted to kind of, you know, since you know we're gonna get a little bit into TA, right, and then we're gonna talk about life and stuff like that. But you know, as far as TA, you know, there's always different styles. So you know, you're the sculpt coach, right? You're teaching people how to get, you know, low time turning trades. So I mean, if you just wanted to go over, and I've never even asked you this, why this is the style that you've kind of mastered and you're known for, and then like, you know, like what some of the things that you have to take those, you know, those what we call catching falling knives type trades.
Yeah, absolutely. So just in terms of if you want to go, do you want to go over a couple of trades? I'm a huge fan of the 1 and 2 minute time frame. It's up to you.
It's
totally up to you.
Yeah, let's hit it, man.
It's not like that.
Yeah, go ahead, Thesis. Let's get right into some TA setups.
So
but just while you're doing that, real quick, I want to say hi to everybody. David, great to see you. Of course, Andrea, Wick's wife, Retro Mike, Jay Violet. I'm probably missing some. Redman, you can jump in. Trying to scroll here. Corey, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. Mark Dutchy, we appreciate you. Darren, of course, Rocco in and out. Thank you guys for just jumping in and chilling with us here on a Sunday afternoon. Go ahead, Thesis.
100%. Let's see.
Looks like Bitcoin just triggered a short. Depends on what game you're playing.
So here's a couple examples of some trades, all based on the 1 and 2 minute time frame. We just hit full TP on this bad boy. This one took longer than I would prefer, if I'm being totally honest, on this right-hand side. So I'm a short-term trader, period, end of sentence. I am what's the word? I'm a scalper. I'm a professional scalper day in, day out. That's all I do. Aside for this stupid Ponzi coin maker and DOT, that I will be 106 years old when those actually play out. But aside for that, these are two examples. The other day when Bitcoin dropped, a couple of different levels. We got short here on would have been Friday, I believe, and then we got short here on the 2 minute time frame on the previous day on Thursday. But here's a good example, coming all the way down to the 1 minute time frame. We wait for a bottoming structure, which is going to be it is and always is. We come down, wait for first drop, right? Second drop is almost always going to be your your what I call the anchor, right? We need an anchor. And then we wait for that 1 minute structure, which is going to be right here. Give me 2 seconds. And the 1 minute structure is always going to be a double bottom. I base all my trades off this specific fractal, right? So from your absolute low. So first green candle, really it's the first purple candle is what you want to go to in terms of the way that I develop the fibs. Bam. And we're going to get what's called the perfect stair set pattern. So we have the 886 pass, right? We come back. This candle, the second candle, the 1 minute in particular, should be bullish engulfing. Wait for these purple ones to develop, and then we get the retest, which is going to be inside this zone. I base all my stop losses on a minus 0.07%, and generally speaking, that's what I try to catch. So this here would be a 0.01, so therefore, perfect. This is perfect. Ideal, like I said, is 0.07. So I'm almost exclusively a 100x trader. Doesn't matter the size of the account. Could be a $100,000 account. Could be a $1,000 account. I generally will always use a 100x cross. I don't recommend everyone do that, but it is how I trade. And then this is our entry. My entry points are almost always this exact same setup. It never changes. If I don't have that double bottoming structure, like this, for example, I won't take. This, I'll take all day. First TP is always going to be the reverse or inverse in terms of the Fibonacci sequence. It's going to be the point 618 right here, TP1, TP2, 786, and then stop loss at break even. I don't generally follow momentum. I'm not a momentum trader. I just simply wait out the full value area on the 2-minute time frame, and then we come back down here. We create all these order blocks, and I will wait for a secondary bounce. Generally, if it's a pump like this on the weekend, we will come back to recover that. This here was a nice little scalp when I was with my brother on my way down to a dealership to drop off my razor. But this thing took forever. How long did this take? Yeah, a day and 5 hours. This is definitely not a scalp. This is what I would consider a swing. Yeah, so like 95% of my stuff, like I said, it all is based on the 1 to 2 minute time frame. Very, big money, very fast. I do not mess around with swings for the most part, though I am here. Let's go into this. I am messing around with these two swings right now, and this one I don't want to hear any trash talk. Okay, I don't want to hear a single word of it from anybody. Let's see. This Ponzi. This is by far and away one of the worst coins, worst performing coins over the past 4 weeks, 6 weeks I've ever seen. This is just disgusting, which is legitimately my specialty. When I see the death of a Ponzi like this, what is this called? Maker or marker or something like that. Downtrend for the past 213 days. My entries are generally on the 1 to 2 minute time frame. However, on this particular instance, we got the CDW, chicken drinking water, or the SFP level below this previous value area. This one is one of the very few coins I am interested from this previous value area. I am interested in holding for the next couple of days, weeks, maybe even a month or so. This deviation from these EMAs, I'm not an EMA trader, however, I do use them as deviations. The deviation percentage on the daily, on that daily 20, is probably one of the nicest looking setups I've seen in a long time. You have no other coins in existence that I know of that are as oversold as this Ponzi. This one is beautiful. The other one that I'm looking at is, let's see, it's going to be DOT. DOT is one of my favorite Ponzi's. Let's see. I'm long from this green box. So from 384 area, I've added now 2 or 3 times. And before I got on stream, I accidentally closed the entire position, which is unfortunate. But this is a bullish bounce. So when you see this 236 in particular, let's see here. I will never enter on the 0.5, or excuse me, the 0.5 or the 382. But this bounce on that 382 in general is a short-term bullish reversal. And I finally took profits. I was able to finally take profits today. I shouldn't say that. I've taken profits a couple times, but this was like a bigger take profits. Probably took 40% of my position out. Waiting for this situation. Once we get this retest on DOT, I do think that it has the potential to be, don't quote me on this because I probably said this 4 or 5 times about 4 or 5 other tokens. This bounce has the potential to be the bottom. If we can come back down and sweep this low, sitting here at 3.819, roughly thereabouts, I will be all in on this stupid Ponzi.
Let me ask you something, Thesis. So this is all technical TAA. I see your logic, your thinking. I understand what you're doing there. And of course, we know the slogan, show me the charts, I'll show you the news type of thing. Okay. But when you were on that maker chart, I couldn't help to think that thing has just, what'd you say, 280 days or so of just down. 213. Okay. How much of that before you go in and just use TA to trade, do you start to wonder, is there some news out there that has made that, is this thing going to rug? Is this thing going to stop doing what it did in the past? Does that even come into your mindset at all?
So the answer is no.
Okay.
With an asterisk. A rug pull is very, very different. So, or even a token switch. So with Matic and what is it called now? Pole dancer or something like that.
Yeah, pull
That there you go. Things like that, they're in the chart ahead of time. So I want to be clear about that. But the significance of the thing that the chart generally can't tell you is the significance of what's going to happen. It'll tell you what's going to happen, but you don't know the significance of it. So yes, that is definitely a thing, right? Rug pulls, token switches, things along those lines. I think the other day, one of my students had pointed out that Maker is no longer a thing. It's switched over to Sky or something. And I'm like, I don't care. Like, if when I look at that chart, I know what a bottoming structure, bottoming volume, and institutional volume looks like, and that's what's happening. I don't care what a piece of paper or coin market graph or whatever the website is. I don't care what any of that says. I'm not even on Twitter anymore at that point. Like, it's just none of it. It hurts your as a trader. It hurts the technicals. Now, with that said, as soon as I posted the bullish institutional buy candles, that same student said, dude, holy S, check this out. And sure enough, there was some talk about getting rid of Sky and going back to Maker. I had no idea about either of those things, going to it or away from it, whatever. I'm like, but I can see on the chart when there are those buy candles with those specific candles. Can it be wrong, by the way? Sure. I'm not. There's no such thing as a 100% trader. I think my win rate is only in an uptrend. I think my win rate's between 85 and 90. In a downtrend, it varies by about 7% less than that. My mentors is 87, same thing, 87, 90. There's a big percentage where you're going to be wrong. Like 1 out of 10 trades, and it's never 1 out of 10, right? You'll go in a stretch of like 12 trades will be wrong because you're going based off of thousands of trades, not 1 out of 10. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right that those things can happen. Black swan events to me are not real. That's not a thing. You could see COVID coming from literally 3 weeks before it happened on Market Cypher. Literally, the bearish 1 day, 2 day, 3 day. The trouble is you don't know the extent of the damage that is going to occur. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know it's coming, but you don't know. I can't tell. No one can tell. And if they tell you they can tell, they're BSing you. You can't tell the extent of the damage that's coming, or vice versa. You can't. Sometimes there'll be a 25% wick. Unfee is a great example. Had a 500% 15-minute wick that was you could have taken profit on. I got in on the trade. Unfortunately, it didn't. The whole thing didn't fill. And people, I heard other people like, "Oh, you can't tell when stuff like this is going to happen." I'm like, weird. Check my P&L, bro. That's funny. That's you can't. What do you mean? That's my job is to tell what's going to happen. Now, is it always right? Can you always get filled or something? No, that's not a thing.
Yeah.
One of the things that scares me about that chart you had on Maker, the last one you showed, man, you had looked like 4 or 5 different head and shoulders in the momentums that didn't play, like in a row. That's scary.
So I don't mean any disrespect. My mentor is a information trader. I personally, I call it Fisher price action because
no, it was in the momentum. So Crypto Face talks about how in the momentum waves
in Market Cypher. Yeah.
Yeah,
no, you're absolutely right. Yep.
And there was 5 of those inverse head and shoulders that looked like in a row, and they didn't play. It looked like on that Maker chart, and that's a little scary.
Absolutely, I trust Market Cypher formations, head and shoulders, for example, more than I don't use formation. Not that it doesn't work. My mentor is a millionaire. From nothing.
Yeah, I don't use them in the chart, but I pay attention in the momentum waves.
Yeah, and he uses formations. I don't use them because they don't help my type of trading. But in Market Cypher, I agree with you 1,000%. Those head and shoulders ultimately turn out to be double bottoms or double tops.
Bearish divergences, bullish divergences. Yeah. Yep. Rocco.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Hey, always the best dressed, man. You're always looking so handsome.
Thank you. That's in the Italian gene. There is nothing I can do about it. Thank you. You're too kind. How you doing, guys? Good to see you all.
Good to see you, Rocco. Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you. What's new, guys? What's going on?
we're talking with Thesis on some trading, and he just gave us some really a couple dot and maker setups.
Yeah, I saw
And
that.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Maker
pretty,
is one of those things that's been there forever, and high expectation back on the past cycle. Now it seems like it's dead. It reminds me like Tron and all those old projects. So yeah,
yeah. It's so when I was asking Thesis about it, I was more philosophically asking about do you take any of the news in at all? I use the word rug, of course. Anything in that top 25, top 50, it's probably pretty good projects. It's like Matic or Pole. But I just wanted philosophically to see if he like took in any of that information. Probably shouldn't have used the word rug, but I always wonder, like in my own style of trading, you sometimes get some alpha about what's getting ready to happen or what is about to happen. And so, sometimes you can't help to think, okay, I got this alpha. And so I'm going to look at the charts and then I'm going to use my TA, but the TA doesn't know that this partnership has just been cemented and I do. And so I just wanted to see what he thought about that. And it was a great answer. It's let the TA be the TA. Don't worry about it. And that's what all good traders tell me. So that was great,
Yep.
great answer, Thesis.
it's a good approach. You know?
Dot is the
That's
one
pretty
that
nice.
I'm most excited about. Dot is a slow, lumbering giant, and I feel like it gets kind of slept on. And I don't know anything about the project. I call them all Ponzi's. Bitcoin's a Ponzi. They're all Ponzi schemes. I don't care. I trade the chart. You can call it whatever name you want. I don't care about it. Dot looks real nice. It's real nice. Not too bad. I like the way it looks. Remember that suit guy from Men's Wearhouse? You're gonna like the way you look. Hey, same thing.
And I guarantee it. Yeah.
I guarantee it.
Whatever happened to that dude, man? That was a great commercial.
George Zimmer.
Yeah.
You guys remember all these legacy coins, right? That were really hot in the last cycle. I always like to get people's thoughts on the legacy. I mean, even like Bitcoin has done its thing, but the other legacy alts, even Ethereum, hasn't done their thing, right? They haven't done their thing yet. Like,
To be fair, Ethereum's held really well. In comparison to Bitcoin,
yes,
Ethereum has held very, very well.
but it hasn't. Like,
Surprisingly.
what I mean is like price action, like what I think a lot of people have been waiting for, right? And everybody says yes because of liquidity going to memes and the newer projects, right?
So
are
the
we
name is
gonna-
called. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, and here's a question for everybody. Do you guys think that we're going to see any of these legacy projects hit their previous all-time high? Is that a mindset? I mean, and I know, like, if you're looking at the chart, you have to wait, right? Because it's a level by level thing. But do you think that that we're going to see, the OG older projects shine again? Like, what like, I just want to, like, I'll be honest, I've been a little concerned about it. I mean, I'm still committed, but I'm
I think there's some that will, but I don't think most of them will. I think there's some like Soul is shining already, for whatever reason it is. But I don't think most of them are gonna make a comeback like we think. Maybe all-time highs because everything pumps. But as far as seeing the growth that they saw last time, I don't think that many people are interested.
That's a good point, Dave, though, because because we're in a bull run doesn't mean everything's going to pump.
I don't think we're in a bull run. I think that's a fallacy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think
Let's hear that.
Bitcoin's
Let's hear
in an
more about
adoption
that,
phase,
man.
but I don't think we're running.
I like that.
Let me give.
What's your perspective?
So, well, if you pull up the chart that matters, and I'm not talking about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just Ponzerific. Let's see here. If you pull up the chart that matters, let's go to the others chart. And the others.d chart is what I use for 98% of my trading. And it sounds like I'm exaggerating. I'm not. Share screen. Okay. This chart is Big Daddy. This is the Big Daddy chart. And right now we're bottoming on the 4 hour. Money flow is turning back to the upside. We finally hit our 4 hour order block. We have one more to hit down here. Although if we can make this the bottom, we're just outside the value area. And these order blocks on the way up are perfectly in line with our POC and our value area high. If this was an asset, I would have already been long, and I am. I was long on Friday. And the long would have been from the 4 hour order block, and my stop loss would be just above this previous order block. And it looked just like this. Now, what is this chart? This chart is the others.d chart. This is the literally, it's the boss. Bitcoin's not the boss. She's barely riding, passenger.
So what's included in the others chart for those that don't know?
It is all of the alts, excluding the top 10 dominance chart. This chart, once bottom, will show you the parabolic movement in altcoins. So it's a trick question what Pollo asked, and I don't claim to know everything. I don't. I'm not that guy. In fact, I don't like that guy. I don't know everything. Because I don't know the answer to are they going to hit all-time highs. That is a trick question. I don't know, but I can tell you if you have a lower cap alt, let's say that's outside the top 10, you will do very well. The moment that the others.d chart begins to bottom, okay, your sub top 10 token will do just fine. Just fine. And it's that everyone looks at the Bitcoin dominance chart, which is an important chart. It's an important chart. But that others.d chart is like altcoins on crack chart. The moment that chart bottoms, the altcoins bottom, and that's when we're going to see the parabolic movements that we're looking for. Because we're not. I got into a discussion with somebody about Bitcoin in particular, like, Bitcoin this, Bitcoin. I'm like, look, Bitcoin barely gave us a 7x for a couple years ago. Like, what is a? If I wanted a 7x, I would have stayed in stocks. I'd be trading the Nasdaq or the NQ. I can get that. I can get that anywhere. I can get a 7x from my local gas station for about $4. Come on now. That's not what we're here for.
Man, that is some good alpha there. Just for people that don't know, right? A lot of us in here and in the chat, a lot of us started in the crypto space, in the trading sector, right? So we've learned some of this, but as this continues to grow, not just the YouTube channel, but the entire industry, the crypto space industry, I think it's always good to kind of go back to the basics, right? What is others.d? What does it stand for, and how do you use it? Because I think people can get a great takeaway from that. So thank you, man. I appreciate that, bro. B team, welcome. B team, Alex O Crypto. We love you, Alex. Hope everything's going good with you. Spam those otters, guys. We love to support Alex O Crypto, and we appreciate you too, Crump. Thanks for stopping in, man. So, what other charts? Thesis do you get into? That was a good one, right? Others.d. What other chart do you get into?
So another great one.
Yeah.
Real quick, I do want to make this mention here. There's a couple of things that can happen with the altcoins right here, right now. This past Friday was a good shakeout, especially on coins like DOT, for example. But specifically, let's just take a look real quick. If you are in some altcoin trades, right here at the base of this value area low, the way my TP system always works, it never changes. It never goes away. It's always the same. I undercut the value area low, boom, TP1. Okay. And then we're going to get a rejection. And that's what I'm waiting for. TP2 is always just undercut the POC. TP3 is always undercut the value area high. Never changes. It does not alter. It does not change. However, we have not rejected this value area low yet. So if this was an asset, I would be taking 50% off the table here, expecting one more rejection, boosh, and then we're going to get either that golden pocket or 786 bounce, or the preferable option in this situation is one more last drop in this 4 hour order block, and then get the retracement. And this is going to be that shakeout moment that I'm kind of waiting for altcoins. Like I'm talking like some pretty piss poor prices. Like let's just imagine anywhere between a 10 and 20% drop in an afternoon would be this scenario. This, for example, DOT would hover still back in the high threes, whatever. This is where I would like to see DOT reach that 381 and sweep that previous low from August. That'd be fantastic in my opinion. So keep this in mind. Right now, these alts can run. for a short period of time, but I would like to see that retracement back to the downside into this 8.95% region, roughly thereabouts. The other chart that I look at is going to be just your Bitcoin dominance, of course, and then of course the total. The total right now, as much as people want to be bearish, is coming. I don't use trend lines, by the way. This is embarrassing. I should delete that. I'm kidding, by the way. Let's see. So this is, I would expect us to top back out at 2.58 trillion. If and we break above the value area high, come back and retrace and use this POC as support. Something like this, to like a falling wedgie situation, boosh, and then change a structure, break a structure, change a character, and then back to the upside. This is really, right now, is the moment of truth for Bitcoin dominance. And it's because if we break this this momentum here, it's not that this line does anything, right? This line is just arbitrary, but it's retail traders. If this line drops, changes market structure, right? Comes back, retests it, and then back down. Retail traders, they watch things like this. And I'm retail too, right? I put myself in that same category, but I'd like to think that I think like a market maker as closely as I possibly can. This right here would be what I would consider to be the end of the bull run and or the lack of one starting. I really don't think we've even seen what bull run looks like.
What month is that? What's that roughly what month are you showing that you're thinking that's going to occur?
Oh, I don't do times, brother. I have no
Okay.
idea. I have no idea. I'm not that guy either. My mentor Kyle is very scared. I looked at him dead in the face. I'm like, you are a voodoo priest, because the way he uses that measurement tool, that's why I'm a short-term scalper, because I like to get in and out under 48 hours, 36 hours if I can. Fantastic.
Well, one of the things that you said there is you wait for the retest, you take profit just under POC, and you take profit just under value area high. So for somebody that is trying to learn and trying to say, how do you do this? What's the formula? That alpha that you just gave, pretty simple. That's what you look for. Retest, take TP just under POC, TP just under value area high. And that right there is a good way for someone to start. From there, you got to get into a whole bunch of other stuff, of course, and keep your journey going, keep learning and grow. But that was fire, man. I appreciate that.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you.
Of course, man. This is why we got you on, man. It's like everybody's journey is so unique, and you take these golden nuggets away and you learn and you start becoming successful. And what people don't understand, man, it just takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of failure. And you fail, you learn, you get up, you dust yourself off, and you just keep going, right? And that's what you did. That's your story. That's your story, brother. It's a hell of a story. It's a great story. Rusty, thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate you. Crump, we see you too, man. Thanks for stopping in to our Sunday bloopers, kind of relaxed, just chilling with the Billy Goat Tales team. We have Rocco here. We have Thesis here. Everybody's helping us out today, jumping in. We did want to get into, and Thesis, feel free to, if you have time to stay. We did want to get into something that's in the news that we think is pretty interesting. Want to hear, basically ask the chat about this. So you guys in chat there, put it in the chat. Little bit of news. So how about that Trump interview with Joe Rogan?
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Let's go. Yeah,
let's go
ask the questions, and Trump did good.
Yeah, let's ask chat. What's your thinking on that? And I don't want to make Billy Goat Tales anything political. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. It's kind of like, I don't care if you're a Protestant or Catholic, or that's your business, man. It's not my business. I know what I am and I know what I stand for, and let you guys be the same, right? But it was so compelling. I couldn't shut it off. I could not shut that thing off. I was like, Joe Rogan really got into some weeds on some questions that it was the first time that I heard some of those answers to. So I wanted to kick it around. Dave, what do you think, man? What was your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I liked it. I tried to watch it the first night. I ended up falling asleep about an hour in. But the next morning I put it on and I watched it. And look, I mean, say what you want. Anybody at that age that can do a 3-hour interview, and Joe even said he did it without peeing, and he didn't even pee before he left. I mean, I think that's crazy amazing. Now, would I do I wish that he would have talked Bitcoin? I do, but is that what's super important right now? Maybe not. So
Good
I
point.
like the interview.
Well, your takeaway right there. See, I couldn't shut it off. You fell asleep. So it's just we're different, right? It's like I was just like, wow, he's asking such amazing questions. Now, I will say Trump tend to over talk a little bit in my mind. It's like I want to hear more questions from Joe, but that's Trump. That's just who he is, and I respect him for that. What's your takeaway thesis?
Man, I watched every minute, and I watched it twice, and I even transcribed it for my members in the Discord. And I respectfully, I say this with the utmost respect. I've been watching Rogan for almost 12 years now, solid, and he's one of the worst interviewers. And Trump is by far and away in my opinion, one of the dumbest human beings I've ever. This man cannot. If someone would just, he's a silly goose, bro. He's a silly. That man is not. He is not. I do not believe he's even a true conservative. I hold very different beliefs about Trump. I feel like he's
with that being said, yeah, that may be something deeper. But given the choices we have, I mean, you got to choose
always
a
a third
turd or a
choice.
douche.
There's always a third choice. I'm gonna keep my third choice to myself, but there's always a third choice, and it sure as hell ain't either of these two clowns.
And what about you, Red Man? What's your thoughts on it? Did you watch it? Did you watch the interview, Red?
So I watched about 40 minutes of it. My wife watched the whole thing. She beat me to the voting, and she beat me to the video. So I don't know. It's I mean, I gotta agree. It could have been a better interview, but at the same time, they talked about things that needed to be talked about. I mean, obviously, the media has been against Trump ever since he's been elected. I mean, it's obvious. They've tried to put him in jail ever since he's become president. And it was funny because and Joe Rogan kind of pointed this out in the interview. He said that there was a point when The View, that's Whoopi, that's all those other females. I'd have nothing against females on TV. I think it's great, but to me, my opinion of them is they're just blowing hot air. It's just hot air, and it's just hate, and it's all one-sided, and we got to stop doing this. I mean, we got to look at the policies. I look at the policies. I think Trump puts us in a better position. I think that Trump, when he was president, we didn't have a war. Now we got two wars. Now we're about to go into World War III. I mean, hey, I'm just going to let the economy speak for itself. I'm definitely going to vote Trump 100%. We had the best economy right before COVID. COVID took out Trump, and it was unfair. But I think this second chance that he gets, he's got a better VP this time. He's got Vivek. He's got Tucker. He's got Elon. I mean, it's an all-star cast. I mean, you got all the great thinkers of the last couple of years all in his camp. So I believe this presidency.
That didn't work out for him last time when he got all those big billionaire CEOs and put them on his cabinet. They were not vetted, and they had some skeletons in their closet.
Yeah, Mike Pence was a horrible VP, and he picked a lot of bad judges. He picked up John Bolton, which is horrible, and he even talked about that in the interview. And John Bolton, he called him for what he is. I mean, the guy's a kook. The guy is just looking to create war somewhere. Doesn't matter where. He just wants to bomb the heck out of people because they make money off of war. It's spinning up the big war machine. So this time, I think it's going to be a better presidency. I think he's going to kill it. Kamala, I just can't see her. She's just a mouthpiece. Nobody's coming after Kamala. Everybody's coming after Trump. So. But yeah, without getting too crazy political.
We don't. It's just, hey, I respect everybody's opinion. I don't have to agree with it, right? I just want to hear it, right? And I think the whole world needs to start understanding that. Man, I respect you for who you are, not the way you vote. You know, I respect you by your character. I respect you for being a good dad. I respect you for thesis, you being able to learn how to break down a motor, put it back together, all that hard work. You know, I don't care how you vote. You vote the way you want to vote. That's personal. I'll go to the church I want to go to. That's personal. You know, and it's still love. You know, you can still love each other, man. It's like it's gotten crazy. And I think my personal opinion is like it seemed like it all ramped up when Obama became president, and then their answer was Trump, and now you have all these years of just back and forth, and it's like it's gotten crazy, man. So I try to kind of not watch any news and focus on what I do, home building and crypto, and kind of stay keep my opinions to myself on that. What about you, Tony? Biomex, what did you watch the interview? What'd you think about it? Oh, can't hear you, man. Oh, you're muted there. Let's see. Let's unmute. There you go. Go ahead. Go ahead, Tony.
There you go. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, man.
I did not watch it yet. I'm not sure if I will. I might get around to it. I've been busy on the book and making sure we push that out. But now that I've got a little more free time, I may give it a listen. Joe Rogan can be funny. Some of his interviews have been good. So yeah. I was trying to pull up a slide. You know, obviously we're kicking the tires on this thing, trying to figure out how we do all the production and all that stuff. But I was going to pull up Brewster's Millions. None of the above, right? The vote for none of the above kind of gif or picture.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been saying that for probably 6 months. I'm not sure if I'm really serious about that, but I still sometimes think two-party system is not the best for our country. Having only two parties that get to be at the debates, I don't think that really gives us a fair look at what opportunities are out there. So,
well, and the other thing with that is, you know, I voted for Ross Perot back in the day. And one thing that I can say with 100% absolute authority on is since I was 18 years old, I have voted in every single presidential election since I was 18 in 1984. So it's like that, exercising that power of being an American citizen is a gift and is glorious. And I've used it every single 4 years. And I'm proud of that because a lot of people have a lot of different opinions, but then they don't go vote. You know, it's like, come on, man, go vote. That's a lot of countries would love to have that ability to exercise a vote, and they just their citizens don't have that opportunity. So go vote. Either way you want to go vote.
100%.
And Trump addressed that too about the independent parties trying to run with us only having two-party system, because he said even if they do win in the election and they make it into the office, they don't have any of the Congress or anybody behind them. You know, that's a Republican and Democrat setup, and so nobody votes with them. At least whenever you're one or the other, you get half of them that are going to mainly vote with you. And he was saying for an independent, there's just no chance, even if they make it through the election, that they get anything done.
Yeah.
There's very few representatives. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Thesis.
I don't want to take anyone else. I'm sorry. There's no representatives for people like myself who I love migrants and I love guns. I like the idea that abortion is perfectly legal. How about you just choose to don't do it? Things like that. Like there's it's logic. Let's just use it's logic. I feel like logic is it's missed. Everything is so extreme. We stand for this, and then this team says we stand for that. How about we find somebody who doesn't stand for anything as a staunch anything? How about you approach the situation with logic and with legitimately not their pocketbooks in mind, but the people you're representing in mind. That's it. There's very few people like that.
How about we just love each other and help each other and enjoy our life? Because before you know it, your life is done, man. The time clicks by so fast. How about we just help each other and love each other for who we are and what we're trying to do when we have these communities, whether it's the gun community, right? Or whether it's a trading card community, or whether it's an art community, or whether it's a church community. You meet these fascinating people that come into your life and weave through your life. And how about getting to know them a little bit and have them enrich your life, and you can hopefully enrich their lives. And we're so extreme. You're right. It's like one side or the other, and everybody wants you to make a stand. They want you. They think because what you just said, thesis was, how about the person in the middle? How about not standing for something? Well, in this day and age, it seems like everybody wants you to make a stand, and they want to know how you're going to vote. And it's like, when did that start? Like this is true story right here. True story. I've been married 38 years. Okay. I will tell you, I've lived down here in South Carolina for 13 years of that 38 years. And I will tell you, it was only 5 or 6 years ago, and I was living here in South Carolina, that I found out if my wife was a Republican or a Democrat. Do you know why? Because it doesn't matter to me. She's my wife. I love her for who she is. I love her for being my kid's mom. I love her. She's my high school sweetheart. Been together for like, does that really matter whether she voted Republican or Democrat? It didn't matter to me. I had no clue. And I didn't push it. And I didn't want to know. And it wasn't a burning desire for me to know, nor did it change the way I felt about her if she happens to be voting against me. Come on, it's nothing. It's a vote. She's still a good person. She still has high character. She still has great values and beliefs, and I still love her. And if she was the opposite party, would I not love her? No, that's so silly to me. So I keep that stuff kind of in a very tight little circle if I share it and how I feel about it. And I certainly don't want to make this space political or anything, but that Joe Rogan interview was so fascinating to me. And I like the way I like his interview style. It's kind of like laid back, off the cuff. He's looking you in the eye. You're looking him in the eye. He's saying whatever he wants. The other person saying, how they were going to answer that. I was amazed, man.
Yeah, I like it I don't think it's an interview. I think it's a conversation. And I like that style more than I like an interview style.
Yeah.
He may not ask the hard hitting questions or may not even know to ask them, but I like that he just sits and chats and let's just talk, and whatever comes up, we'll talk about it.
It's a step in the right direction, that's for sure.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. How about you, Pollo?
Well, I just like that Trump is getting around. He's he went on X. Then he did the Joe Rogan. I feel like he's getting out there and getting the word out. So I'll be honest, like I guess what you call a selfish voter, like whatever is gonna do well for the things I believe in and our country. That's the route that I always take. I've never been like a party affiliated person because I'm on the fence on other things. Certain things, like I call them slippery slope laws. Banning a certain type of gun or banning and I hate to say, banning abortion at a certain weeks. Like I think those are slippery slopes, and I think that if that passes, then they're just going to go for something even more extreme. So I kind of try to be a centered person. So but I do like that he's going out there. He's going different avenues, and I know people can say, oh, because Twitter and stuff like that, but he's doing it, and that's kind of I want to see more of that. I want to see more appeasing to the newer generation. Like not everybody watches ABC or NBC News to watch a debate. A lot of people listen to podcasts. A lot of people listen to spaces. So I think
24 million in 24 hours. So that's a lot more than probably the Super Bowl gets.
Yeah, so
that's crazy.
It's interesting. It's just it's a new era, and I think that he's doing it right. But I don't agree. I don't agree with everything. That's why I try not. Like I'm not really party affiliated. I'm just for what I believe in at that moment. I voted both sides. So.
What about you, Rocco? Did you watch the interview?
I briefly watched it and I skipped a lot of it. I don't know. I do have a kind of different perspective about a lot of things. Maybe being a foreigner kind of give you a little bit of age, looking things from the outside, even if I believe in here 27 years. Um, Definitely the party situation of a two party is always this thing that you have to divide and conquer, and the fact that you have to have a two party and people has to identify with one another is already an issue, I think, because they know how better is to divide the people and then to dominate on them. And this brings a lot of problems. And I'll try to, I know, about, okay, I'm going to start with the interview with Trump. I like the fact there was a conversation and it wasn't just a media or a big channel. And I think that something that should be implemented where when you have two candidates going somewhere and have a conversation for 3 hours to know them. I would love to see every time there is a big change in the country, whoever they are, to have a conversation and not a debate on TV that every 30 seconds somebody has to skip, move on, and no way to reply. That's no way to know somebody. You have to have a conversation for at least 2 3 hours. It will be nice to have a different people interviewing or even in a conversation like the Elon, like a more of the Rogan for over 3 hours for both sides. Independent, even foreigners. I don't know from other countries doing the same thing. I understand maybe it's for the United States, but maybe do the same thing with other countries because people are gonna push. They're gonna push the button. They're gonna ask for things, and maybe we're gonna ask for things that are, I don't know, different and more deep. Now, then I like the conversation, the interview. It's you are selling a product. The product that you're selling, you want to win. So, of course, both sides, they're going to say they enjoy the conversation and they want to do this and do that and to be better. They're going to change the economy. They're going to change this. At the end of the day, they sell. They're a salesperson and they're going to change their life in a power status, whatever their legacy is for their kids. But that person, at the end of the day, is I think the problem is on the root. And what I mean is there shouldn't be somebody or anybody able to have a career in politics. It should be a limited mandate. It should be volunteer. Like you volunteer for 4 years or 3 years or 2 years or whatever. People argue, but it's not enough to understand how the machine works. Well, if the machine works after 4 years, you out. You cannot be a congressman. You cannot be a senator. You cannot be a president. You can't. You can't. After 4 years, you're done. Done. You're off. You go back to do your job. You were a lawyer. You go back to be a lawyer. Whatever. And that will automatically cut every connection and all the legacy and all uh, the bribery and favor that you have accumulated. Because if you get there, you own somebody's own. That's the truth of the matter. You don't get there because you're a nice person or because you don't have money. That's how you get there. Somehow you get there because you own somebody, so many people, a lot of favors. I think that to have a limited mandate will help a lot. And to push back about maybe two party is not the optimal situation. I go back to where in Italy, in practice, me and you can found a new party. And now you have so many that are so fragmented, it doesn't work anyway. So it's not
How many
even
parties
the
are over
opposite.
there? How many parties? Is there a lot of parties over there in Italy?
Yes, a lot of it. And
Okay.
the problem is that they also, let's say, you are in one region. In this case, we are one state, you're in the other state, and we associate and we get it together. So at the end, we are separate, but we present ourselves at the same time. So it doesn't make any sense too, because at that point we call it flip flopper. Like they go back at this point. If you win, I become your party, and if I win, you become my party. So that should be avoided too. You can go back and forth. If you choose to stay in one party, you should stay in one. You can go back and forth all the time. That's a lot of problems. So that's the method, how to find the right way to do it. I think that's another issue that maybe it should be, I don't know, someday in the future, 300, 400 years from now, maybe we have a result. And the other things is the voting system has to be changed to something that is very transparent. And blockchain, maybe in the future, will bring this to where people have a really, uh, I would say, trust on what they're doing. Because today, I gotta tell you, if I vote today, my vote really counts, or is just a perception to give me a freedom, a perception of freedom to make me go vote, or
The
is really
Matrix.
my vote
It's
count?
the Matrix, man. We're in the Matrix.
So that's the thing. If it's on blockchain, I know 100% of my vote counted. We count the number. It's there. It's available for everybody. We don't have to wait for the pool 24 hours later, 3 weeks later to know who wants. But it's in real time. Why don't do that right away? I mean, for either
Yeah.
party. And you understand that's not favorable, because if we will do that, a lot of things is going to go, it's going to change and they're going to go down. So
Yeah.
it's
So
it's tough.
so I think Redman brought up the economy piece. You know, what I find interesting about crypto as it relates to all of this is the one thing, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, we all know that the United States dollar is eroding every single year. We all have been conditioned to believe that inflation, no matter if it's 1%, 4%, 3%, 2%, 8%, 20%, that it's just part of our system. It's part of our dollar, and that's just the way it is. It's going to be that way. When you look at the purchasing power of the dollar and you look at how it's just buys less and less each year, and somebody says, "Hey, man, inflation is not too bad. It's 2%, 3%." Not right now, of course, but a few years back, right? Well, that's really saying that my dollar is now buying 3% less if it's 3%, right? So why are we okay with that, right? Why are we okay with that? And that's why we're here in Bitcoin. And being an older guy in the space, older age wise, one of the things that I had to relearn that my kids and honestly, some of my employees have taught me. I had this idea that you millennials are you're just lazy. Like you want something. I grew up on a dairy farm, right? If I wanted something, we had to work. Everything was work. Everything was getting it done, finding a way to make it happen, finding the way to achieve the mission. I am always been a mission central guy, right? And I think it's because I grew up. I had to milk cows. I don't care if you're sick. I don't care what was going on. Those cows needed milk. If you didn't milk them, we had all kinds of problems, mastitis and all kinds of things can happen. And so you have to work. And so my mindset has always been about, no, you just got to quit being a quote snowflake and dig deep, man, dig deep. And I had this mindset, which was exposed to me. And you got to be able to look inward and examine your beliefs and say, hey, man, when did I start believing this? And why do I believe this? And it doesn't make any sense. Is it true? Like thesis started out with at the beginning, present new facts to me and I'm open-minded to accept them. I feel that way, right? So one of the things I started digging into, which was amazing, in 1988, the average cost of a brand new house was $50,000. In 1988, I was probably making $25,000 a year, and I bought a used house, and it cost me around $43,000, and it was a used house. But a new house was only in the 50s. Now you can go on many websites, Fred being one of them, and you can verify this data I'm getting ready to tell you. But basically, a house was $50,000. Today, that same house is $321,000. Okay, so today the average price is salaries is about $75,000. So if you take $75,000 and you got to buy $321,000, or you took, in my case, $25,000 and bought a $43,000 house, you're talking a 5x different, over 500% difference. Okay, so that's a big purchase. It's a one-time purchase, but keep going. Look at food. Look at food in 1988. Look at food costs today. Look at keep going from there. Extrapolate it all the way down. And here's what I came up with when I actually looked at the math and looked at the data. It isn't that the millennial people are not willing to put in the grind and do whatever it takes to work. It isn't that. The whole canvas has shifted. I painted on this canvas during my youth and it worked. And now there's this new canvas that everyone else is painting on. And I'm going to tell you, it's not working. And it really was a paradigm shift for me. It just blew me away how much harder daycare, when in 88, in the 80s, daycare was $54 a week. Okay. Today, average daycare is $321 a week. A week. You get done with your budget and you're making $75,000, you're 30 years old making $75,000 a year. You get done with your budget. You can't, there's nothing there. I don't care how hard you're working, right? Now, it is true from the boomers like myself. It is true that I think it's always going to be true. Hard work, opening up a business, doing what it takes to try to do whatever you can to get ahead in life. All those things you still need to do. I don't want to take that away because that's just, to me, being American and accomplishing the American dream. You go out and seek it, visualize it, manifest it, do whatever it takes to make it happen. Of course, that's always going to be kind of like the pillars for me, but it's a different canvas. We're painting on a different canvas right now. And why? Because of the purchasing power of the dollar. And what are we doing about that? We're into crypto. We're into Bitcoin. And I think probably Thesis and I differ on this a little bit. I do believe that Bitcoin is a store of value. I do believe that it's property. I do believe that there's two things they're not making any more of. That's land and that's Bitcoin. And I do believe it sort of feels like if you bought downtown Manhattan in 1880, if your family did that, what's it going to be worth in 2024? So I look at Bitcoin and I'm hopeful, and I don't have all the answers, but this is my thesis. My thesis is I am hopeful for my kids by my guidance and telling them to buy Bitcoin with whatever you can and just dollar cost average, even if it's $10 a week. I am hopeful that it does do what all the experts say it's going to do, because I believe it is their only and last great heavily weighted option. It is their last bastion. Now, my son's a doctor. He went to Duke Med. He going to be fine. But guess what? He's not going to be fine. You know why? Because he's got over $800,000 of debt.
Dude,
So
I went to school with the same thing. Like, not for medical, but thousands of dollars in debt for a piece of paper I don't use.
yeah,
And I want to backtrack a little bit.
sure.
I truly do think these are all Ponzi schemes, but Bitcoin in particular is what I would consider to be perfect money, not perfect currency.
Right.
And I didn't develop that idea, right? That's a
Right.
but Bitcoin really is the perfect money. I'm getting goosebumps. I fucking love this shit, dude. I'm passionate. So with that said, I did enter a pretty massive short on Bitcoin.
That's trading, man. That's trading. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a short right now on Bitcoin. I don't hope I didn't miss it.
No, you didn't. This is a 2-minute scalp. This is like I've already blipped one TP. So, but with that said, Bitcoin itself is the perfect money. Aside from a solar flare, etc. Me myself personally, I personally choose to invest in land, Bibles, bullets, and beans. I don't own any crypto. I take that back. My wife owns Atom, Filecoin, and Big Time. A lot of Big Time. I believe in Big Time is right up until the moment that I sell the bag, and that just becomes another Ponzi. My mother-in-law owns even more Big Time. She's doing very well. Dot, Atom, and Filecoin. But even those are all Ponzi. We're the SPX is a Ponzi, and I say that with love. Someone puts money into it, and you're hoping that your 401k is worth more at the end than it was when you first put money into it, and then you take your money out and then you live off of it. If that's not the definition of a Ponzi scheme, I don't know what insurance is a Ponzi scheme. They're all pyramid schemes to me.
The United States dollar is a Ponzi scheme.
The United States dollar is the biggest Ponzi scheme of them all. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's
Well, all
amazing.
the world debt is a Ponzi scheme. If you take all the money, the United States owns to China, China to Russia, Russia to Italy, Italy to France, France to Union. It's all a, it's all a, and of course the system is rigged. You know, there isn't neither reset to start all. How are you going to repay everything back? There is no way to repay that. It has to be some sort of reset, switch, or whatever it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be a war. I think it's more like a digital revolution, a digital reset somehow. People's going to suffer anyway. I mean, we are in a reset right now. I think we don't realize it yet, but when you have an inflation that is not 2 point or 3 point, it's actually 25-30%. I don't care what the government says. Everything is skyrocketing. So if you're gonna, even the dollar store next to my house, I went there. There is a one aisle. The item is $3, $5, and $7 in the dollar store. In the dollar store,
Dollar store,
It's a
nothing's
dollar
a
store.
buck. Yeah.
So I'm talking about a dollar store that has to sell stuff for $3, $5, $7, and there's no longer a dollar store. So
One of the
well,
things that when you're talking about debt is, and that's what I've been trying to teach my 14-year-old is not to be in debt enslavement. If you're borrowing on your credit cards, start doing the math of how much you're paying in interest a month, especially as that debt goes higher, and you could get to a point that you're just going to be making payments for the rest of your life. And that's what I call financial enslavement. Like, how are you gonna be able to save for a house, or save for maybe a toy or a motorcycle, something that you want, if you're paying 23% interest on something. Like I was there and I got myself out of it, and I didn't realize how much out till I did start doing the math. I was totally freaked out. And I always try to tell younger people, my nephews, hey, like, as tempting as they are, you got to learn to live without a card. Like, don't live on debt, because it'll start catching up on you. And I think that it's going to get to a point that it's going to eventually, people are going to start defaulting. And I think that the credit card companies don't care, because they've already made so much off the interest that you're paying. They already took their principal. Like, that's the way that I'm thinking. That's how these financial institutions are still giving people who shouldn't have $50,000 credit limit, but they're still giving it to them.
to add to that, I want to add, if I may, that
Yeah.
it shouldn't be by law a possibility for a credit card to charge you 25% or 30% or 20%. It should be illegal. First of all, I think that should be by law. And the other things about the credit card company, if you are not paying, they sell your debt to somebody else, to the collecting agency. And if you don't pay to them, the collecting agency, another agency buy your debt, and they follow up on it. So the system is built in a way for you to fail. But I think that the people, because the people have a good value, let's say I have a debt, I feel compelled to pay it back. Few people do the bankruptcy and they can restart. I don't say that's a good thing to do it, because if I've been in bankruptcy, I know what it feels. It feels terrible. But you have to restart. And many of the people just want to follow, chasing down. And you realize you toss money in the garbage because when you got to pay 20, 25% back, it's almost impossible for you to do it. Unless you have a large amount of money that just drop out of nowhere. And we know that if you work the regular job like everybody else, say you make your 70,000, 65,000, 60,000 a year, there is no way you're gonna repay the debt back. And that's why I think that there are some rules that have to change.
And the crazy part is they're charging, the store, or they're charging them 1 to 3% just to do the
Yeah,
transaction for the sale. So I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, I think credit cards are terrible. And I think insurance has gotten ridiculous. And I'm in
yeah,
Florida.
insurance is the same
Like,
thing. Absolutely the same thing.
you can barely even get home insurance in Florida. And flood insurance, like you're paying ridiculous amounts of money to
Yeah,
get
flood
insurance.
insurance. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
it's
lived in Miami so for a few years, so I know exactly. You have to have all this insurance, and then when the hurricane hits, the insurance you call it up, and then there's nobody to be found, and now they get a bailout from the government. You've been paid for years. That's that's
so
unfortunate system that is
let,
rigged.
let's let's shift some gears here a little bit and go into check out what's going on in the market because thesis got me interested here.
Mhm.
If you take a look at this, wow. So Bitcoin's at 68,000, Ethereum's at 2514. Interesting. Where are we at market cap? 2.3 trillion market cap. Wow, Bitcoin dominance 58.7%. What do you think that's going to get? Are we going to continue to go up? Thesis, or what's your do you study that at all? What's your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. So short term, a lot of alts are oversold in particular. Like if I was just, excuse me, overbought. I know that sounds crazy. Look, I want to preface this with by saying alts in general, why we're here. If we just take a look at Bitcoin overall, if you are an oscillator trader, let's say market cipher, whatever you may use, RSI, whatever, there are a lot of reasons for Bitcoin dominance to come up over the next short period of time. We'll call it days to weeks. There are a lot of very good reasons because the next reset that altcoins will get is going to be I don't want to say the one, but it's going to be a good one. But like I said, the one that I'm really my eyes on, man, I am in this beautiful Bitcoin short. I want this Ponzi scheme to die now. Let's go. So with that said, the transition from Bitcoin, the liquidity from Bitcoin into altcoins, specifically outside of the top 10, which is like a specialty, right? I love trading like low liquidity, just the dirtiest bottom of the barrel shitcoins, things that are dead, just dead. Maker, Dot. If you told me Dot was gonna be $3, I would have not believed you. When it was at $40, you know what I mean? Easy 10x's are coming. The thing is that there's going to be a shakeout. And when I hate saying it, like this ominous, like, oh, what are you, some kind of tea leaf reader? No. It's just how liquidity works. Liquidity needs to get grabbed. We had this big drop back in August and September on altcoins. Bitcoin too, obviously down to 49, whatever it was, 47. That was a nice little shakeout, but we've already retraced. Some altcoins retraced 50% since then, 60% since then, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This next shakeout is going to reset most of the oscillators for alts. Bitcoin hasn't had a reset for a while, and you're going to start to see these little canaries in the coal mines. In Frankie's Discord, I called Doge for everybody. I called AIOZ, whatever that Ponzi is. A bunch of them. Ape. Big Time was my biggest trade I've ever. That and Tio were my two biggest swing trades I've ever. I think I turned like $200 into just. I don't even want to tell you. It was ridiculous, stupid, like an unethical amount of X's. Not because I'm that good, but because I'm that big of a nerd. With that said, those are the canaries in the coal mines. these big time pumps, these TIA pumps and TIA bumps. Watch TIA. It's the next big time. It's got to hit that $2.38 range. I think that's what it was. Don't quote me. I'm not looking at the chart now, but I think from memory that's what it is. After that bottoming, TIA is going to be a fun one. High volume. Maker is going to surprise people. Again, I don't know anything about any of these projects. I cannot tell you what they do. I don't know. I just found out Big Time was a gaming coin. I thought Link had something to do with the Legends of Zelda. Turns out Chainlink has nothing to do with that. Whatever. You know what I mean? I don't care.
Yeah.
Link is, matter of fact, I was looking at Link today. I've been in and out of trades on Link for the past few days. Link is a fun token to trade and one of the most annoying at the same time. And I'm looking at the daily, and the daily looks kind of piss poor. Actually, very bad. But I was looking at a nice little setup between 9.35 and 7.62. And when I had looked at it initially, someone was like, Link will never see $10 again. This is a couple of weeks ago. Meanwhile, we're sitting between $10 and $11. But there's an order block down at this previous POC between 7.62 and 7.18 that could cause a pretty parabolic. Oh, I've got them set up right now. Here, I'll share my screen.
Yeah, share.
And again, these are higher time frames. I'm not a higher time frame trader. I'm a short-term scalper. I marked these out during one of my coaching calls a few weeks ago. Both of these setups, this previous value area low, this is, I think, all bear market range. Let's go to the weekly. This thing is ready to pop, but these two areas in particular would get my juices flowing. This weekly order block. If we come down here, I'll be pretty nervous. This shouldn't happen, theoretically, right? But down here, the amount of liquidity that's built up over time. If you look, I'm not a formation trader because I don't believe in Fisher Price action. I don't have Fisher Price magnets, and I'm not 6 years old. But you see this. This is a perfect market structure, ready for a falling wedge, whatever you want to call it. You know, a perfect little retest, either higher high or we get that lower low, and then the POCs use as support, and then gonzos, like gonzos. And I don't remember the formula to measure time. I think my mentor talks about the time it takes should be like 10% or something. But on Big Time, when I got into Big Time, actually Pollo did too, at around 6 cents. This is beautiful. For this parabolic run up to happen, took from bottom and the retest was 42 days versus from top down took 259 days. So whatever percentage of that is the same percentage it should take for Link to turn around as well. Now, real quick, I want to touch on Big Time is one of the most gorgeous charts, one of the most, in my opinion, it's the most fun coin to trade in existence, down and up, it doesn't matter, is TIA. TIA is just a blast, you guys. This is the same chart as Big Time. You can ignore this. This is from some of my coaching calls. Boom, 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 boom. Let's delete that. I don't like a messy chart. TIA is interesting to me because of how much volume it has in both directions. The biggest difference between TIA and Big Time is Big Time, when it picks a direction, it just goes there. Meaning, for 259 days, Big Time was just nonstop downside high volume, where TIA pushes in volume in both directions with the same fervor, with the same tenacity. I love, absolutely adore trading coins like this because it doesn't matter. When it's ready to pump, it pumped. I was long from this exact spot at 470 something. Boom, value area high. Guess what happened to the value area high? Short zone, it dies. There is no second guessing. There is no question. It's got enough volume to pump out your to blow your eardrums. This is one of the most beautiful ranges I've ever traded. I cannot overstate this. If you are looking to learn how to trade, you don't even need leverage with this thing. Spot trading, 30% moves. Like, it's just masterful. This is a masterclass. This feels like trading the NQ. That's how much volume is in this coin. It feels like I'm trading the NASDAQ.
Wow, amazing.
What was the question? I'm so sorry, I forgot.
I don't know who asked you the question. Did I ask you the question?
remember.
I can't remember if I asked
Something
you the question.
about Bitcoin dominance. Yeah, Bitcoin dominance can come
Oh, yeah,
up for a
way
little
back.
bit, but I'm looking for a bottoming on the others.d chart.
Yeah. And fear and greed was, what was it, 52? I think. Let me look real quick. Fear and greed was 52.
I mean, we might have
52.
a little bit of time, but I think that total 3 is going to bounce here pretty soon.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
total 3 is a good chart too. But if you want to really get dirty and gross and grimy, bottom of a garbage can where that garbage juice builds up, the others.d chart. Ooh. Ooh. That's the one you don't bring home. You don't tell anybody. You don't tell anybody you trade that chart. Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah, that's like the
it's
22
funny
you keep in the
because
back of the truck.
I'm waiting for that 60. I think 60 is we've gotten really close, but I think that when Bitcoin dominance hits 60, and I think it's going to happen sooner than people think. I think that that's when we're going to see the Bitcoin trade sideways and alts pick up. And really, it's just because it feels just like a psychological number. You know, it feels like it's like we've gotten so close to it, and now we're creeping back up to it. So I'm gonna stick with that 60 number, and I think that like that's the number that we need to hit for a lot of people who are just waiting for the signs to start getting committed. You know, I've said this. I think that we still don't have retail in here. I think that that like I'm talking about like the newbies. It's starting to happen.
Very little. You're absolutely right.
But like I'm in a couple of groups and we haven't seen the big flood yet, you know? And then, you know, the new channels that are popping up, they're starting to come on, you know? Because I keep an eye on that just to because I've been waiting, you know. I to be honest with you, you know, I think as far as I'm more of a swing type guy, you know, and really like I trade only high time frame structures, and a lot, you know, we're just in the middle on a lot of these things. So I think that, you know, we still have a little bit of time, but I think that the move is gonna come, and when I think what's gonna happen when it comes, it's gonna be hard. But just to here's the caveat on that. For anybody who thinks that they're too late, understand that Bitcoin's only been around since 2009, right? These altcoins are destroyed. So if you think you're too late and you're not sure, but you want to get into crypto, DCA is the way. Little by little, increment yourself, and while you're doing that, learn. You know, because I think that these environments, especially if you're trying to learn how to trade, are not easy. Like we get whipsaw actions, you know, and we're gonna get into I think the next 2 or 3 weeks are gonna be even more insane. I think that we're gonna have way more whipsaw action than people are thinking in the next 2 or 3 weeks. And like, just, you know, if you believe in what we're doing, if you believe in cryptocurrency, blockchain, then just start slowly and build your way up till you learn how to trade. Because there's nothing wrong with, you know, buying, holding, and then having points where, you know, you take profit. That's it. As long as you're taking profit. Back to you. Really.
Yeah, man.
Mark Dutch just said,
go ahead. What was that thesis?
Mark Dutch just really touched on a point that is so true. 2020, people had savings due to the pandemic, et cetera, and that's not the case now. Retail is broke. What he just said really underlines a lot. Also, the more the all-time highs that the SPY puts in, this is just from a trader perspective, in general, the less volume you get, because a lot of times people are, number one, let's take profits, but more importantly, people start to become scared. They're more trepidatious about putting money in the market when you're at all-time highs. Believe it or not, retail is not stupid the way people. We're dumb, but we're not stupid. Does that make sense? Even the average retail investor, if their broker says, "Hey, we're at all-time highs, yay," their first thought generally, usually would think, oh, let's put more money into it because it's going to keep going. From the people I talk to, including like my mother-in-law, etc., who have money in the 401ks or whatever, are talking about removing, a pretty large percentage of their 401k out of the market because they know and understand what happens at all-time highs. The next thing that comes is a correction. Not, at least the retail investors I know that I give advice to, not financial advice, but financial advice. It is important to take profits. I don't care if it's a 401k or not. I don't care if it's long term or not. People who are older, like again, my mother-in-law, et cetera, they're removing some funds out of the market because they understand how all-time highs work. They understand how corrections work. And I'm sitting here kind of waiting for it too. But I think Mark Dutch is just touched on an extremely important topic that is much deeper than the 3-second answer.
Yeah, I agree. Things have changed for sure. The landscape's changed. Jim's in the house. What's going on, Jimmy?
Jimmy Jim.
You have audio, brother?
He says stand by.
Stand by. Now that's the
Hey
Jimmy.
guys, I want to take the opportunity to. Unfortunately, I got to bounce, but I want to thank you everybody for the opportunity and for the conversation. Nice to meet you. For the new faces that I never met before, so thank you again, and hopefully to see you next week again.
Thanks, Rocco.
We love you,
Thank
man.
Rocco.
And everybody, if you're in the crypto space, you need to be buying all of your crypto gear: shirts, hats, sweaters, pants, handkerchiefs from In and Out.
That's
Crypto.
a new one.
Yeah, there you
I gotta
go.
do that.
Love you, brother. Good to see
Thank
you.
you,
Thanks
guys.
for joining us. Yeah, man.
Ciao. Take care. Ciao.
Somebody get Jimmy a new couch. Retro Mike said, somebody get Jimmy a new couch. Oh, man. Well, guys, we're getting really close anyways to wrapping the show up. I want to thank Thesis for joining us, man. And tell Kyle he's more Pollo, you guys tell Kyle he's more than welcome to come on. As you know, we're kind of loose. We're not we're just bouncing around. We throw some current event topics. We always want to talk about trading. We always want to talk about our community, and everyone in here is in our community. They're just wonderful people. We all help each other out. So we appreciate you joining us, Thesis.
I appreciate you having me on, man. Anytime. You let me know and I'll be here.
Yeah.
Billy, do you want to go over the Pennsylvania bill?
We're running a little late, man. Do you just want to keep?
Oh yeah. I just noticed the time. Yeah, no,
I
we
got
can go over
nothing
next
going
week.
on.
I mean,
You got nothing going on?
Yeah,
Well, Pollo,
I just cracked a beer, so I'm here all night.
on a Sunday too, man. I got to get up and work. If you want to, Pollo, or we can save it for next week. Totally up to you, man.
I mean, if you guys, if the crowd wants to see it, I mean, it's probably a quick conversation. I mean, I just wanted to go over it just because I think
it is some alpha. I mean, it is some good stuff. Go ahead, hit it.
Let's just pull it up and let me bring this guy down here.
So while you're doing that, just to set it up for you, while you're getting that going, there's all these new rules and regulations and laws being established state by state, not just at the federal level. And Pollo's stumbled onto a Pennsylvania law that I believe they're in their third reading, and the vote's coming up, and it's about crypto. And I read through it, and I was not impressed. I can tell you that much. It's a little nerve-wracking that, in my view, just my view of what they're wanting to do over there in Pennsylvania. So if you have that, you got it pulled up here. I'll bring it up, Pollo. Boom.
Yeah. And I just highlighted a couple of points. I think what they're doing here is this is the first attempt of stopping, kind of giving a general analysis to that state of what cryptocurrencies are. When you read this, they're telling you what a blockchain is. They're telling you what a ledger is, what the blockchain protocols, decentralization. So kind of the things that we already know if you're in the space, but if you don't know blockchain at all, I think this is the first attempt, right? Well, not the first, because we have some other states, but this is, I think, a good move forward. We need a lot more detail, and I think it's going to start coming. It's going to start coming. And one of the good things that I like is right here. So they're saying like decentralized. They're telling you like this is what their definition is, and the term does not include central bank digital currency. So they're gonna exclude what we don't like is these CBDCs, right? And they're making their stance now. It's a quick read, but I love like they're talking about self custody, the things that we want to see. It's a one step move forward. It's
Well, but just so you know, Polio, like when you write a new law like this, they have to define the terms. So they're all they are doing right there is defining for the people voting what these terms are. If you scroll down, because I can't, you got to scroll down there a little.
I got it.
Scroll down. I'll stop right there. It says scroll up just a little bit if you can there. Okay. The Commonwealth may not prohibit, restrict, or otherwise impair the ability of an individual or business to do either of the following. Okay, so this is good. They cannot prohibit the acceptance of digital asset as a method of payment for legal goods and services. So it says the Commonwealth or municipality may not prohibit the restriction or restrict otherwise impair the ability of an individual or business to do either of the following: accept digital assets as a method of payment for legal goods and services. They cannot prohibit the maintain self-custody of a digital asset using a self-hosted wallet, and B, additional taxes prohibited. The Commonwealth or a municipality may not impose an additional tax with withholding assessment or charge on a digital asset that is based solely on the use of the digital asset as a method of payment to purchase the legal goods or services. Nothing in the subsection shall be construed to prohibit the Commonwealth or municipality from imposing a tax, withholding assessment, or charge on a digital asset for the purchase if the tax, withholding, assessment, or charge would otherwise be imposed for the purchase through the use of the legal tender of the United States. So it does begin to build the framework of cryptocurrencies, man, of digital assets. And it's interesting to me that that we're starting to see a lot of these laws, not at the federal level, but now at the state level. So it's pretty good stuff.
Can I give quick advice on reading stuff like this? So what I use on a regular basis is I just screenshot it, or just screenshot, go to the pictures, and then highlight all the words. I'll throw it in the chat GPT. I'm like, can you explain this this text in under 2 or 3 paragraphs, and then I'll have it give me the whole synopsis in 2 sentences.
Cliff notes for the digital.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. And like I said, I love that they're going to allow the use of nodes. They're already saying they're going to allow staking. So a lot of things that you've kind of gotten taken away from our financial freedoms, at least they're giving us definition. This is just one step forward. It's what we want to see more of. It's just interesting that they're doing it at the state level, because what I hear a lot is, well, the federal government's not going to give us any direction, so we're going to take matters into our own hands. So I just thought that was interesting, for the community to at least check it out. And for anybody who wants to read up on the bill, this is the bill right up here, House Bill 2481, and just put Pennsylvania House Bill 2481, and it'll be right there for you. So kind of just wanted to glance over it. I'm not an economist, but I did think that, this is where we need to start going in the space to get to that area of acceptance and more people in our community.
Yeah, man. Now that's good stuff. I mean, that's anything that we can bring to the table to help people see the adoption of cryptocurrency or make them aware of the adoption of cryptocurrency. It's all good. We have Brian in the chat, which is great to see you, Brian. And RU46 into you guys he's probably in your trading group, right? You guys know this guy?
He's not. He was one of the very first supporters of my original YouTube channel. One of my first patrons. He's a good friend down in Vegas, and I hugely appreciate the fact that he comes out. He knows nothing about crypto, nothing about trading. Big shouts out to him. He just got married recently, so. But yeah, no, he's new.
That's awesome.
And he'll sub as soon as the new channel is released. So shouts out to Ray, bro. Cheers.
Well, thanks for stopping in on Billy Goat Tales. We appreciate it all. Let's go around the horn one last time as we go into the end of the stream here. I appreciate everybody coming out. One of the things that I would tell everybody is we're in exciting times, man. In my whole lifetime, this is just such exciting times. And I know people say this all the time, and it's so true, though. It's why it resonates with everybody. But this is just the start of what's happening, man. I mean, back when I was trading in the 80s, I had to call my broker. There was no internet, man. Before the internet, I was watching my 8mm movies and calling my broker, and we had a little telephone group that we would call each other and talk to each other about back. And it was just one-on-one. You'd call this guy, call that guy, call this guy, and you try to get some semblance of making trades. And look at the technology that we have today. TradingView, Market Cipher, all this stuff that's just allows us to be at home.
I do everything from my phone. Think about
amazing.
that. My entire job is on my phone now. Like it's mind blowing.
It's gratitude.
Yeah.
That's I can look at this and just like this is so much gratitude for all these tools and all this technology that allows us to do what we're doing. Even this stream, right? All of us coming from different parts of the states, talking, people in chat from all over the place. This is just an amazing time to be alive, and we just got to remember to be grateful for it all, man. That's the bottom line. So with that, any parting words, Red, let's go around the horn and then I'll kick in the music and we'll call it a night, man.
I want to thank everybody for coming out, especially Thesis. Thanks for giving us a difference of opinion, man. We need to hear the other side. I think we get in these echo chambers and we start thinking that we're right on everything, and it's just not the case. Nobody's going to be the perfect pick. It doesn't matter who you put up there. They're going to have faults. There's going to be problems. But I think if we get out of this divide mindset and we get back into loving each other, like Billy was talking about earlier, we can find a happy median somewhere, because obviously nobody wants to be canceled. Nobody wants to be censored. Everybody wants to be heard, no matter who you are, where you're from. You want to be able to put your opinion out there. And I think that, if we continue to love on each other, we're going to see a difference in the United States as a whole. East Coast, West Coast, doesn't matter. All that beef got put a long time ago. But, I think all of us should just come together, and we should Dave, we should, I saw that. Just come together and find the best route, man. And when it comes to crypto is our escape, right? So with that, I'll hand it over to Pollo. Pollo, go ahead, take us away.
I just want to say this to everybody. We live in an era of instant gratification. Everything is instant. You don't even have to do a Google search. You could just ask Siri, ask Alexa. But when it comes to finance, if you do the research, patience is what's going to pay off. So be patient. If you're not sure, do more research and learn. You won't regret it. So that's what my quote of the day is. Practice patience. I know it's hard in the era that we live in, but just do your research and you'll see that it'll pay off.
But guys, it's a Halloween episode. I mean, we've got to talk about Halloween. What's your favorite parts about Halloween?
Halloween
for
is
me.
my wife's birthday, so that's my favorite part.
Oh,
Oh, nice, man.
happy birthday.
Tell her happy birthday.
Will do. Appreciate it,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, bro.
Happy birthday to her.
The kids, that's my favorite part, seeing the kids. Back in the day, seeing my kids, taking them to the parade, have them go trick-or-treating. They get all excited, they get happy. And the next thing you know, they're 35 years old, man. So it goes so fast. So I think Halloween's all about kids for me.
Horror
Yeah,
movie
seeing the
marathons
trick or
for me.
treaters come out. What was that?
Horror movie marathons. Old 80s, senseless violence, I'm always game for those.
Jimmy, are you able to talk now?
I think so.
Oh,
Hey,
Jimmy.
there he is.
I'm sorry. Man, I'm sorry if you've been out off stage there. My bad. I was doing other things here, trying to keep things going. But
No,
yeah,
I
if you
just
guys have
finally
not
got back
seen
in.
Jimmy's house, Jimmy, do you got anything you can pull up? Your house is amazing, dude.
Yeah.
Go down
The best way is to
Maybe
follow
I could
Jimmy on
try.
Twitter. Yeah, the best way is to follow Jimmy on Twitter, right, Jimmy? What's your handle on Twitter?
Here we go.
Jimmy's house
Hang
is
on, I can pull it up.
A+.
You guys
Or I
got
can
to
try
see this,
to.
man. You got to see this. It's worth the wait.
Oh,
Trust me.
wait a
Yeah,
minute. I can do
for
it
sure
right
it
from
is.
a video file. Oh yeah. Let's see here.
I like all the fog, but I won't ruin too much of it.
Did that do anything?
Yeah.
Yo.
I hope
There you go.
we don't get in trouble for that music, Jimmy.
That was fire. That was fire, Jimmy.
We just started. We just started.
Yeah, we just started. We're gonna get
Is
since
what
we're
it
not
is.
monetized, I don't think they can demonetize us. But
Yeah.
It's yeah, that's we didn't make many changes this year, but made a few.
That shit is sick, bro.
And the video doesn't have. We were playing around with the lasers last night. Only problem is my yard has a pretty good grade to it, to the street. So to get the lasers at the right height it's an art to get it to look right. But when you get it to look right, then it looks like a thin layer of clouds floating through the all the tombstones and whatnot. But redid the fog this year. I can literally white out my cul-de-sac. I can pump out so much fog you cannot see the house across the street. So that's going to be fun on Halloween night.
Man, it looked
Jimmy,
great.
does the hayride come all the way to Baytown? Because I'm hoping that the hayride will pick me up at my house and it'll
All
take
right,
me
y'all
over
just
through.
come over here and hang out with us because all we do is sit on the driveway. World Series will be going, so I'll probably have another projector out shooting on the garage door, and we just sit out there, drink, and hand out candy.
Man,
Nice,
that's
sounds
lovely.
fun.
If anyone followed that signal, I'm getting 75% out of the trade now. Boom.
Thesis is always working, man. Always working it. Love it. Love it. Love it, dude. All right, guys, we're gonna get rolling out of here. Jimmy,
Can I give
appreciate you.
90 seconds of advice real quick?
Yeah,
that
man,
I
go
try
ahead.
To give on any law. I apologize. I'm not trying to take over anything like that.
You're fine, dude. Your
I
family.
get this question a lot from new guys in particular of how to get started. And the number one thing I would suggest is to learn one thing. There was something that somebody told me, but I don't even remember who. It was a long time ago. If you're gonna do something, just pick one aspect of that something. It doesn't matter if it's carpentry. It doesn't matter if it's mechanics. I'm a big time small engines mechanic. I'm not the greatest, car mechanic. My brothers are. I work on the dirt bikes, the ATVs, etc. Find an aspect, if you want to get into trading, of one thing that you can resonate with and become the best that there is at that one thing. And someone to study is a good example that I used was Nicholas Darvis, born in 1920, Hungarian, and he was a dancer, and he followed printouts, right, of the market. Didn't come from a whole bunch of money or anything like that. And he studied the same exact identical pattern, right, over and over again. And he turned a very small amount of money, especially back in the 1930s and 40s, into $2 million by the time he passed away. Actually, he passed away pretty early in 1977. Nicholas Darvis, again, Hungarian dancer. Just Google him. He's not very well known. It was a mistake or accident that I came across him just through conversation with my mentor. And the moment I found him, I resonated because the trades that I take day in, day out, are basically the exact identical same setup as they were the day before and the day before and the day before and the day before. And it becomes fucking clockwork. It becomes easy money. You do the same thing over and over again, and eventually you will become the best at it. I'm not a big time or like a long-term trader, a daily trader, 12-hour trader. You give me that 2-minute time frame to the 6-minute time frame, and I will murder anybody on the charts. And I don't mean that in a cocky way. I mean, I've worked very hard to get to that point. If someone presents me with a 4-hour chart, I'm lost. I don't know what you want me to say. But it's because I've gotten really good at that one thing. Anyone that's new that wants to begin really getting wet, that sounds weird, getting their toes wet in trading, find one thing you resonate with and become the best at that one thing. That's it. Nicholas Darvis, remember?
Man, that's great advice. That's great wisdom. And that is a great way to end our live stream. We appreciate all you guys for stopping in, joining us, chatting with us. Love you all. Thank you. And we'll see you next Sunday. And of course, Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on X. Have a great day, everyone. Love you.